My name is Emma Walls, and the topic of my speech today is: do prisons actually help reform people? Have you ever wondered why America has one of the highest rates of people incarcerated? Maybe it's because we're so focused on getting people off of the streets and out of the way than actually focusing on reforming people. So, the purpose of my speech today is to help inform you and others and help you make your own decisions on whether or not the US prison system is doing its job. So, a lot of prisons in other countries are focused on helping people in general, helping reform them, than rather just getting them off the streets and like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. The Connecticut prison system is not like this, and I know because my father works at a state prison. Other prisons across the country do have rehabilitation programs, but not all of them. So the relevance of this today is there's been controversy in a lot of places, not only across the US, but across the world, about whether or not correctional facilities actually help or harm people. So my dad has been working in the Connecticut prison system for the past 13 or 14 years, so I've heard my fair share of stories about the correctional system. I've also written a few papers on this before, so I know what I'm talking about. So, different prisons in different states and countries have different standards for what reforming prisoners means. So, New Zealand prisons provide programs for their inmates to participate in so that when released they can be productive members of society, as seen in the first picture on this slide. So they also have work programs that help them integrate into society as well, and training courses and workshops and all that for when they get out. There's also, it's a very comfortable environment to be in, to basically remind them that they're not in there just to get kicked away from society. They're in there so they can help fix themselves. Now, HMP Addywell in Scotland is the same thing. There's a picture of it. It's the middle picture on this slide. So, a quote from their website says, Addywell is designed as a learning prison where offenders can address their offending behavior and the circumstances which led to their imprisonment. So, while in prison, it gives them time to realize what they've done is wrong and how they can correct it. So, the Norway prison system is also the same. It's the picture on the far right in this slide as well. They focus on helping people get better and not punishing them for their crimes. Prisons look normal, there's no bars on any windows, and the correctional officers and the inmates have like a friendly rapport going on. There's no like arguments or really anything in between them. So, like prisons in other countries besides America, they prepare the prisoners for living outside of prison by using different kinds of programs. And like I said in my introduction, the Connecticut prison system is not like this, so that is what I'm going to be focusing on because I know a lot about it when compared to other states. So, Connecticut is one of the smallest states, yet it still has a high prison population. There are 14 prisons with a total of 12,273 people incarcerated, with an average in each prison of 876 as of June 2019, according to Wikipedia and my dad. So, Connecticut has an incarceration of 468 per 100,000 people, which means for every 100,000 people, 468 of them are incarcerated, according to the website Prison Policy. And if you also look on the slide that I have up, Connecticut is below the United States when it comes to the incarceration rate, but it's still high when compared to other countries. So, although Connecticut does seem to have a high prison population, it's low compared to the rest of the country, like I said here. So, Connecticut has the 16th lowest incarceration rate in the country, which is saying something when you're comparing it to other countries. Louisiana has the highest incarceration rate in the country at 760 people per 100,000. Now, I don't have that on my chart here, but it would be above the United States when looking at the incarceration rate. So, recidivism in Connecticut, When talking about recidivism, you've probably never heard the word before, but it's when a former inmate ends up in jail again. So, according to a study done in 2012 by the State Criminal Justice Policy and Planning Division of the Office of Policy and Management, they said that within 5 years of their release, 79% of people were rearrested, 69% were convicted of a new crime, and 50% were returned to prison with a new sentence. So, there are some good prisons in the United States, and not all of them are bad, which I'm not saying. So, there is the federal prison camp at Alderson, West Virginia. So if you look at the slide right here, there's some pictures of it, and you may or may not have heard of it because when Martha Stewart went to prison, that is the prison she went to. So in that prison, inmates have a chance to participate in on-site programs that give them a chance to reduce their sentence, which is good. It's like this prison is doing what prisons in other countries are doing, which is what all prisons are soon going to be doing. So I'd say about half of United States prisons, there's a lack of reformation programs. So in many U.S. prisons, the incarcerated are just sitting around not doing anything to improve their behavior, which I know because my dad tells me a lot of stories about this happening. So the average percentage of people who come back to prison after being incarcerated is about 60%. So, whatever decision you've made about this topic is yours, and it's only my job to inform you of this topic and not influence your decision. So, prisons across the world are focused on rehabilitating their occupants, and the United States is starting to as well. Connecticut has not gotten that far yet, but it will be soon. And in case you missed it while I was talking, the topic of my speech is the American prison system and whether or not it's doing its job. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope you've made your decision on whether or not the United States prison system is working or not. Thank you.